Is door knocking necessary? That's what we're going to talk about on today's show of real estate, marketing, and coffee. Welcome to the show, everyone. I am your host, Ed Troxell, with my lovely co host.
Amanda Condyles.
And we are here every Monday at 8 a.m. Pacific, and we are showing you a live broadcast. I was going to tell you what network we were on. We're on Facebook and LinkedIn. And you may be
We're on
watching the
the Ed and
replay.
Amanda network.
Yes. Don't tempt me, Amanda. Do not tempt me. This is what happens when you start throwing out ideas there that sound really, really good.
I'm just saying, I feel like we'd have a good network. I don't know.
I think we would, and that is a possibility. So, I mean, right now we're on
All
Facebook
right.
and LinkedIn, but with a repurpose over to YouTube and in the near future somewhere else. Just keep an ear out for that. Hint, hint. But today we are going to be talking about door knocking and whether or not it's necessary. And agents, you can tune in, share your feedback down below, even if you're watching the replay, because we want to hear what your experience has been, whether you're doing it, whether you're not, why you're not, all of those things. But today we're going to bring in actually an agent to talk more about it as well. Before we do, though, Amanda, what's your feel on door knocking and if it's necessary for agents, just from your experience?
Sure. I actually think this is a great question, and we'll probably deep dive into this. But on the surface, that's a new word. On the surface, I think it really depends on your personality and who you are and what your goals are. And so I always tell agents, don't do things that don't feel authentic to you or that don't show your best strengths, right? If you're not best in person, don't go door knocking. Design your entire lead gen strategy that fits your strengths. But if you're one of those people who, if you get in the room, like if you get the appointment with the client, you've nailed them. Door knocking is a great lead gen strategy because people have that automatic buy-in. It's a lot harder to say no to your face.
Yeah, that's really good points there. And yes, we will dive a little bit deeper here with the agent when we bring them on. I will say for me, I am, and it could be just because I don't force myself to do it, but I am just not a door knocker.
Mhm.
And I will tell you, I don't even answer my door for
Yeah.
people that I don't know aren't coming over. And I even have a
Mhm.
sign to not knock or ring the doorbell because my
Beware of
dogs
dog.
will go crazy. So and then it's already a mess. Like
Yeah.
if I really didn't even expect you to come over and now you're ringing or knocking on the door
Hmm.
and my dogs are going crazy,
It's a great point.
I'm already in
You're
like,
already not in a great headspace. You
yeah,
already don't want to talk to the person.
yes. And so I don't even care if you're a kid selling candy, if you know you're the next best thing to whatever's going to happen to me. Like I'm already not in the right headspace for answering that door. And I'm just hoping that you're going to go away like, while I tame the
You're the
dogs.
guy that looks in the blinds like, are they gone yet or no?
After about 5 or 10 minutes of getting the dogs to settle
Yep.
down. Yes. Yeah. Um, so, with that being said, let's go ahead and bring on our agent today to talk more about if door knocking is necessary. And we'll just describe more of that. And for those tuning in, even on the replay, be sure to share your comments down below. Thomas, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Good morning.
Whoa, I just transported. Thank you. I'm on the A&E network, so that's all
See,
good.
Yes.
today it's the 8 network or the Eat network or something because we've got you. So we're adding in the
Yes.
T today.
All
That
good.
is awesome.
I have my coffee. Thank you so much for the invitation and inviting me into your home. Glad to share, man. Door knocking. Uh,
Yes.
I would say it is kind of like a lost art. Kind of
Yeah.
like when
Ooh, that's
we're,
good.
people are agents want to do things quickly that don't have too much personal touch lately,
Yeah.
Ooh.
right? We're trying to get it. Everybody's like, it's a numbers game, it's a numbers game, it's a numbers
Mhm.
game. But my belief is why not put in a little bit of effort? You might not hit as many people,
Yeah.
but you leave a big impact on everyone that you touch.
Ooh.
And the reason for door knocking, why a lot of people will not do it, number one, fear of rejection.
Mhm.
And it's not the person rejecting them, it's their own story that they're
Yep.
making up,
It's
the
all up
agent,
here. You're so
right?
right.
So a lot of the times they don't care.
Yeah.
We're putting in a story of like we constantly get rejected. There's no good leads. But door knocking is actually as Amanda said, if it is a strength of that you're a people person, that you can leave an impact, that you could carry a conversation without not having like that, you know, small, shallow chatter, but actually having vested interest in terms of what they're interested in, you're going to crush it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And yeah, people have said, uh, do cold calls, uh,
Mhm.
door knock, send out mailers, social media, do whatever works best for you.
yes. Oh, okay. So there's so much to unpack
I
just in
know.
that
I'm like,
first few
I'm
minutes.
ready.
I was like, geez. I mean, even from when Thomas jumped in and said,
Hmm.
"Thank you for inviting me into your home," that is how you know
Hmm.
he is a good real estate agent because he
Yep.
already knows what's happening, what's going on here. And so, Thomas, let's back up for a second and let everyone know who you are and what areas you're serving because people might want to know that, and then
For
we'll
sure.
kind of
For
dive a little
sure.
deeper.
I'm located in northern New Jersey, Bergen County, serving the Bergen County area, whether it's rentals, uh, purchases and sales, as well as commercial properties and
Oh,
investments.
cool. Okay.
That's
A little
awesome.
bit of everything out there. That's awesome.
Everything.
Yeah. And with the door knocking situation, so you just kind of like yes, door knocking. Then you went into you tied in some social media
Hmm.
parts there. Then you also tied in just I think we talked about open houses. If not, I'm throwing that in there too because we were having that conversation as well. So most agents are not going to want to do the door knocking
Hmm.
because of that fear of rejection. I will say like that would be one of my top things because
Hmm.
again, it's all what we're talking about up
Hmm.
here. And how do you overcome that mindset part? Because I know that's going to tie into social media stuff as well when
Yeah.
we talk about what you've been doing with social media. So let's start with the door knocking. Like how do you work on this equipment? How did you get over
Hmm.
that for yourself?
The number one thing is Ed shares it most, show up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Regardless of what you say, what you do, some people they they're not comfortable with having a conversation.
Mhm.
They don't know what to say. I hate the word scripts because I was like, it's just a conversation. You're just trying to
Yep.
get to know the person and see. You're not trying to get the sale right away. You're basically trying to
Yes.
open up a relationship. And there's a guy in California does about $10 million worth of of income, and all he does on his door knocking is he knocks on a door or rings the doorbell, and as soon as they come in the door, he just gives them a flyer, market update, and then just goes to the next door. Right? So you have to work towards your strengths. Some people
Yeah.
love to talk. Some people just love to talk about
Yeah.
them
Yep.
and not have any dialogue with the person that they want to go meet. So showing up is the number one thing,
Hmm.
regardless of am I wearing the right thing? Am I going to say the right thing? Does my breath smell? Just show up. That's winning 90% of the battle right there.
Yeah.
That is so true.
Well, and I love what you said about the relationship because I think that's the piece so many agents miss is they have the I need to get the sale. And yes, that is the end goal, but in my opinion, and you might it sounds like you agree, is really the goal is to get the relationship. And by proxy, showing up, engaging, providing value, the sale comes. It might come tomorrow, it might come in 2 years, but the goal of door knocking and cold calling and client nurture and social media, all of it's to build a relationship. And so I think that can remove some of that rejection piece, right? Like if my goal is just to connect with you, then it's not as um, emotionally involved, right? You're not as like, I need to get the sale now because I need money. Your goal is just to connect, and that's it.
right? And there's a lot of agents that get into it thinking that it's about money. We're
Yeah.
going to get the big checks and we're going to do this, but it's really establishing the relationship. Maybe it's not them as a client. Maybe it's their cousin. Maybe
Yeah.
it's their neighbor. If you're in with this one neighbor that knows
Mhm.
everyone else in the neighborhood, boom, like
Yeah.
that's what you're trying to create. And the biggest thing that we should be doing in this business is it's a get to know us business.
Mhm.
Oh,
It's about, let me share with you a little bit about what I do. Not just telling you I sold this, I did this, I'm going to do this. But, I grew up here. I
Mhm.
have family here. This is the reason why I'm here, just to see,
Yeah.
and share with you, provide some information and value about how the market is going.
yeah. And that's a big one with the mailer or the flyer and how the market is going. Let's segue into social media and if and how that ties into door knocking, because you've done a little bit of both, right?
Yeah. I would say door knocking and social media have the same exact strategy
Mm,
in terms of
Interesting.
if you're showing up and going to the door, you're going to be knocking, right? So you're,
yes.
you're going to be putting out content that's going to gauge their interest. And from there, yeah, sometimes the conversation doesn't happen. Sometimes it does. But the people that connect are the people that are for you, right?
Yeah.
And then you just constantly just build on that relationship, follow up, see what they need, what they want to accomplish. And that's how you just do the follow up for that. The fortune is in the follow up, and that's
Mhm.
exactly how we have a conversation and connect through social media as well as door knocking.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a really great perspective to think of a social media strategy very similar to door knocking, because you're right. Some people are going to engage and others aren't. And it's going to be the same. First door might slam the door in my face, but the second door might be like, thank you so much. And then we've had a great conversation. And then the third door might just thanks and but it's all valuable, right?
Absolutely. And it gives you the moment to actually feel them out, as well as
Yeah.
them feeling you out. Because some people are great on the phone, and then when they show up in person, it's like,
Yeah.
this is not the same person.
This
Right?
is what Ed and I talk about all the time. I'm like, play to your strengths. If you are awkward as heck, don't go door knocking. Don't do it. Know yourself well enough, because people are going to feel that and you're just going to waste your time. But if you're great at it, like, man, dive into that.
Yeah.
100%.
And I would also say, because obviously I'm on the video side of things, and I know how people are not necessarily ready to jump in front of the camera,
Mhm.
right? Even though they know they need to do it, they know that this is what's going to help boost their sales, their relationships, and all of the things for their business. They still are not like jumping in front of the camera necessarily. And so I feel like it's the same thing where it's something that you don't want to just say completely no to,
Yeah.
because you know that that's a little uncomfortable. It's something that you want to at least try. And in this case, with the door knocking, I would say I would want to partner up with someone like Thomas to go and shadow and
Yeah.
get that feel. Like if I was an agent in New Jersey area and I was having trouble with door knocking, I'd be like, Thomas, you make it look so easy. Do you mind if I shadow you for this, right? And like be able to see that. Or maybe I'm following him on social
Uh-huh.
media and he's sharing that information on his profiles, on his news
Yeah.
feed. Like that's something that for me, my research hat goes on, and that's what I would do to really get a better vibe on that. And even just from listening to you speak today, Thomas, I'm already in my head like, gosh, he makes it sound so easy.
Hmm.
I could totally do this, you know? So
Yeah.
it's those types of things that we want to pick up on, because we don't want to just say, well, no, it's uncomfortable, so I'm not going to do
Hmm.
it.
Yeah. I think that's a great point. And I love kind of the point you're hinting at too, Ed, is you can find those I don't want to call them low hanging fruit because that makes it sound negative, but those easier door knocks, right? Like maybe you host an open house and you test it out. You don't have to do 200 doors to start door knocking. Maybe you just do the immediate 10 doors and say, hey, I had an agent who used to do this and I thought it was brilliant. He would door knock. It was like 10 this way and 10 this way of the house he was hosting an open house at. And he would just say, hey, just wanted to let you know we are doing an open house. Feel free to stop by, but I wanted to let you know in case you saw more cars in the area. And so it was easy, right? And so it didn't feel as, but it would always get him this natural interaction because people aren't feeling like they're being sold. They didn't even really feel like they were being invited to the open house. It was just kind of, hey, if you want to come, you're welcome to, but I did want to let you know we're anticipating more cars today. So thank you so much for your patience. We'll be out here from 1 to 3. And so it's kind of an easy segue into testing it out. And just like you're saying, Ed, just because something's uncomfortable doesn't mean it's not for you, doesn't mean you're awkward and no go.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
some of those super uncomfortable things are uncomfortable because of the reasons Thomas said. It's that rejection mentality, right? We're afraid they're going to slam the door in our face. And so we tell ourselves that story. Well, what if you came from contribution and all of your door knocking and all of your social media? Then it's easy.
100%.
Well, simple. It's simple.
Right, simple. And that's one of the strategies that I use when it comes to open houses. I learned it from a top agent, and he's like, what we do on our strategy is if we have an open house on Sunday, Friday, and Saturday, we are knocking on the 100 doors around the house.
Ah.
The reason why we do that is we're creating the buzz. Neighbors are always nosy and wondering what the other neighbors have or what they're doing. And they will create the traffic so that everybody that comes in is going to be, wow, like I really need this house. There's a different energy that shows up on this. And that when I used that for my most recent open house, we had 60 people show up in 2 hours. And like, it was just a conveyor belt of people that we had to get through. But a lot of those people said, oh, I know you. You left a flyer in my mailbox.
Yeah, I've seen you.
Right. So
well, it's creating that reticular activator, right? Your brain is like, I saw you on that flyer you left and now here you are. And so it has that like, oh, you've shown up in multiple places. Okay.
Absolutely. And that's what you want to do. You want to create, you want to kind of pre-frame them so that they're ready for that. And I would say the biggest thing that I've learned, especially in the personal development journey about creating a story is it's the success cycle, right? So it's like we always start off with some type of potential. It's like, I can do it. It sounds like a great idea. And let's just take some action, right? We don't even know what the strategy is. We just go, we're gung-ho, we're on fire for this
Just
thing,
doing it.
right? And then we get a result. And then from that result, it's like, it could be positive, it could be negative. But then from that result, we create a story. Right. And from that story, it cycles back up to that potential. So if you have a great experience door knocking, it's like, wow, this stuff is easy. Like I could crush it every single day because the potential is high. The action was great. The results were great. The story is like, I'll do this every single day because I'm getting tons of business.
Yeah.
A lot of people, potential. I could get leads with this thing and I'll door knock. I don't know what the strategy is. But the results suck. I got cursed off. I got my door slammed in my face, and I got bit by a dog. Story is that every time I go out, I'm going to get rejected. I'm going to get cursed off. I'm going to get bit by a dog. So the next time I go out, I'm just going to go out with lower energy of being like, it's going to just cycle so that it's going to go in the downward spiral versus going up.
Yeah.
Well, you might perceive things differently because of this story. I always think of that, like, how many times have you felt like you didn't belong at a training or something and you walk into it and you're like, oh gosh, I'm rejected, or I don't belong here, or I'm not successful enough, or whatever the story going on in your head is. And so you show up like that and thus by proxy make it true, right?
Absolutely.
Because you're showing up with that disconnect. People feel that.
Oh, big time. Yeah. And Thomas, with your door knocking, do you tie in social media to that aspect too, or are you just doing the door knocking solely to get your clients and to establish your relationships, I should say, as well?
Yeah, you definitely have to add on the social media piece. Like everything clicks together, right? So maybe the first thing is to get the introduction. You just meet them face to face, see what they're about. Um, and then you want to, if you have the conversation, to just invite them. Here's a market report. I'd love to share this with you. Um, here, if I could get your name, your email address. Um, I think they're more likely to give out their email address rather than their telephone number, right? So,
Yeah.
but you want to come back, give them a nice note, give them a nice email, just letting them know that you acknowledged them, that you had a great conversation with them, and then just follow up with social media. Follow my journey,
Yeah.
right? Today I was great. Yesterday I sucked completely. Check that out. And just be real with them, because they're like, oh, I want to see how you suck rather than
Mhm.
how great you are, because that's
Yeah.
all I see on social media.
That's a
But
good
That
point.
is,
People love that. Yeah.
yeah,
I love that realness. Like when people post that raw stuff, I'm like, gosh, this is what social media is missing. So that's super cool. And I love the note idea. I think that is solidifies that connection.
absolutely. And the good thing about with handwriting notes is you could actually tell a person's personality with it,
Mhm.
right? Are they finishing their sentences going up? They're usually more positive. If they're going down, they're usually a bit more negative. Um, how their handwriting is, you can see how organized they are.
Mhm.
oh boy.
It's just so many little things that they're not aware of. We're not aware of. But if your awareness grows, you could see all these little personality traits. You know,
Sure.
That's super cool.
I was like, I always tell people I'm the tech guy, so my handwriting is always going to be messy unless I'm really focused and I can really make it look good. So don't judge me on my handwriting.
So Ed can send emails then.
Yes,
right?
I'll send you your video messages all day long.
There you go. There you
There you
go.
go.
Personal touch.
Yes.
Well, and talking about tech, and forgive me, I don't know the name of it, and you might, Thomas, but there's a door knocking app that an agent I used to work for would use, and he would pull up, he would type in the street address he was going to start, and he could actually ping and say, talk to someone at this door, left flyer here. And so he would go in at the end of any connection that he made, say maybe the first house answered and they had a great connection. He would write a little note in it, like talked about dog, or random stuff like that, so that he could write that note on the back end. And people were always amazed, but he leveraged technology. And this could be as simple as just writing the address in your phone note. You don't necessarily have to leverage an app, but having those, because then he would write them a handwritten card because he had their address. And so
Mm,
he'd get their name from the MLS. He'd write them a handwritten note and say, loved meeting your dog, Teddy. And, you know, let me know if I can do anything for you. Have a great day. And that was it. And it's super
Yeah.
easy, but he had the follow up. It was personal, it was relational. And it didn't take him that much extra effort to do those things. So,
absolutely. And that's what it's all about, the small details.
I'm thinking over here. I I don't know if I'd actually do this, but in my head it sounds cool. Like after meeting with them or whatever, I'd grab my phone and do like a quick snapshot in the front yard and then send that to them because that's gonna make them more memorable. And yes, the camera will come back. But that's
this is me in
like
front of your house.
yeah, because it's funny. It makes them laugh, and it's
Yeah.
something like if you had a good conversation with them,
Yeah.
that's gonna, in my opinion, that's gonna stand out because you're not just doing the same, like
The same old, same old.
Mhm. And
like
that
a little
yeah.
pose or something.
It totally makes sense, and that was what one of my mentors taught me was, when you go to these networking events, instead of just grabbing their business card or their texting your information over to them, take a selfie with them. Take a
Yeah.
selfie and text it to each other. That way you get each other's contact information, but you also remember what the last thing was,
Yes. Oh my gosh.
right?
Because it's so hard to, when you're at that, in that networking, it's, you could meet 100 people and have the same conversation. I know when I go to like Keller Williams's family reunion, I'm meeting like 100 people a day, and they'll
Right.
all add me on Facebook, and I'm like, I don't know if we met. I don't know if we had a conversation. Did you tell me what you did? Did I tell, like, I don't know. But if you sent me a selfie, I'd be like, oh, that was Thomas. We talked, got it.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's all I did at the convention down in AC. I was not part
Super
of
cool.
that brawl
Oh,
that's going viral everywhere.
Don't
But
lie, Thomas.
uh,
Don't lie. You started it. We
I'm
know.
sorry, I put a pre-approval letter on the ground and they all started going crazy
They
over
just, yeah,
there
it.
you
fighting
go.
over it.
Right.
That's
Now,
awesome.
speaking of social and tech, and we kind of talked a little bit about video, how are you leveraging video in your business? Because that's something that I think a lot of agents are starting to do a little
Mhm.
bit more of because they know that it's really important, especially these days. And if you don't, it's expected in 2022, which is just a couple weeks away,
Yep.
at the time of this recording. It's expected that over 82% of all internet traffic is going to be video based. So if you're not doing video, for those who are tuning in, please start doing video. It does not have to be perfect. Please
Mhm.
start doing video. So, Thomas, how are you tying in video?
Video. I sucked at video. I was terrified. I was shaking. The camera was shaking. I was shaking. Everything. There was you have to get used to it. The more repetitions you have, and it's kind of awkward at the beginning because you're like, I have no one to talk to. I like I'm talking to myself into this camera. Like, what the hell? What the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
But people that saw my early on videos, they're like, wow, like you
Yeah.
sucked back then. You really did suck. Like, but look at you. Like, it sounds so natural to you, and you look like you're having fun doing it. And I'm like, yeah, because I have no expectations. All I'm doing, I'm just giving out
Right
value,
there.
trying to connect, provide as much information that I possibly can. And people are like, yeah, I work with Tom every day because they see how I interact or they
Yeah.
see what value I'm giving. You could hide stuff in the photo, you could Photoshop it, you could do whatever you want,
Mhm.
and people will have their own interpretation of it. Versus getting, I'd rather that shaky video is worth a lot more than just
Mhm.
a photo or a selfie of yourself.
Oh gosh, so true. And it helps people engage on such a deeper level. I mean, when I can hear your voice, like you have such a calm demeanor, Thomas. So if I was in New Jersey and you popped up on my feed and I was needing to buy or sell, I'd be like, man, like even the things about your energy and your presence that you bring can go a long way, even if your video is, hey, happy holidays, just wanted to say hi and I'm grateful for you. Like people can pick up on those subtle nuances of your personality, even if you're not delivering it explicitly. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And Thomas, you don't just talk about like the latest listing, right? On your videos. I've seen some other videos, some motivational ones, I think, and you mix it up. Is that right?
The biggest thing is I'm tired of seeing agents. I get it when they have to do just list it, right? They're trying to get eyeballs on it. But like when an offer is accepted, it's under contract, and when it sells, sure, for real estate agents, we don't get too many of those, right? So you want to celebrate the hell out of it, but people that see it often, they're like, all right, whatever. They get numb to it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'd rather tell the story behind it. Like
That's so great.
this is what it's about today. I brought my mom today because she wanted to see the property with me, and she's
Nice.
just in the
Yes.
background with her hair all messed up. I'm like, sorry, mom, but but this is what
Here
it's
she
like.
is.
I'm in a hoodie. I'm cleaning up stuff because like I have to get the house ready. So it's
Yeah.
sharing the journey behind it. Like this
Mhm.
is what it really takes to get the home ready. You have to get it prepped for showing. You have to get it
Mhm.
cleaned. You have to get it staged if you want to. And these are the people that will probably be best fits for this home
That's so
versus
great.
just listed
Yeah.
four
Yeah.
bedroom, two bath, whatever. It's
Well, and
boring.
that's all information they can find on their own too.
Right.
Yeah, they probably know it because they've been on Zillow and probably saw the listing before
Yeah.
you even gave it to them.
But showing them the behind the scenes, like that's a value to so many things. One, because people are just nosy.
Yeah.
But two, like people don't know the process. You know, if I was selling my home for the first time, I might have no idea. I might think it's as easy as calling Thomas and having you put a sign in my yard and that's it. I might not even think about, like, so many people don't think about taking their family photos off the walls or staging or painting or any of that. Like, they have no concept of that. And so showing them those behind the scenes nitty gritty really actually shows them the value of having an agent. I have an agent friend who, anytime he's helping prep for a listing, he'll take a selfie or be like, this is why it's important to have a good real estate agent, because, you know, I'm here at midnight and we're pulling up these floors. And not saying every agent needs to do that, but it's great because he's showcasing, like, hey, make sure you find someone good, because you should have someone in your corner who's doing these things and coaching you on the process.
Yeah.
100%. Totally agree. And you could easily share those lessons of, like, yeah, I've been up to 12 at night helping out my
Yeah.
client. This is what I do for everybody. And I love the
Mhm.
cat in the background.
Yeah.
uh,
I just told Ed, no one's going to come down the stairs.
right? But
Little did I know, cat's going up.
it's stuff like that. They'll remember that. You know, it's like, I don't
Yeah.
remember what you said in the video, but I remember the cat in the background. I had the
It's
same
true.
exact cat.
It's so true. And that ties back into what you originally said in the beginning, Thomas, is you have to be willing to do what other agents
Mhm.
aren't, and being able to, you know, show these behind the scenes, do live video, be able to not just post a just listed, but also share a video of the story behind
Mhm.
it. Like, if agents want to continue to keep up with the technology and to get that attention, in my opinion, if you're going to do the just listed photo posts, fine, but let's add to it, right? Like,
Mhm.
let's add that behind the scenes video so that
Yeah.
it takes it to that next level. If you're going to do flyers, add a QR code with a link to a video
Yes.
of you welcoming or you talking about the property. Like, take things to that next level and start adding in video wherever you can, because that's where that personal touch is going to come. And that's where you're going to really start to stand out.
Well, and you can leverage those QR codes in door knocking too. Like, on your door knocking flyer, maybe you have a door knocking video that just says, hey, I was in your
Yes.
neighborhood today, just popping by, whatever, whatever. And that's all on a QR code. It could be the same video. You record it once and you're done. It's probably 3 minutes of your time. But then the people who are really interested can scan that, go see the video, and then it's almost like they open the door. It's probably the next best thing, right? So a good video can go a long way in that way for those people you don't connect. So it makes it not as much of a waste, I guess, that they didn't answer.
100%. And the video that I'll do is I'll get the phone, I'll, do a selfie, and I'll go knock, knock, knock. Hey, it's me. To make it
It's me. I'm
seem
here at your door.
right. I'm here at your door. I'm sorry, it's another realtor, but let me share with you just what's going on with the market. That's what I want to do. Um, that's how I usually do my opening line. I make fun of, like, I'm just another realtor. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to just sell your house or, like, get inside your door when you're trying to close it on me. It's like, let me show you why I'm different.
Yeah.
Mm.
And the biggest thing in terms of, like, social media marketing or door knocking is they're not really having conversations with the person in front of them. They're trying to sell them on, let me show you what I did, right? And that's the biggest thing with social media and like door knocking or trying to market yourself is people are wanting to tell people what they did rather than show them.
Mm.
So even when I'm meeting, like, new people, they're like, "What do you do?" I just say I'm in real estate. I don't even tell them I'm a realtor because some people they get
Yep.
skeeved out. They're like, "You're a realtor, all right, cool." Like, I don't want you
Insta
to
stiff
know my
arm.
number, whatever, right? But it allows us an opportunity to, if they do a little bit more deeper diving, oh wow, he is a realtor. Oh, he never mentioned that to me. But the thing
Mhm.
is, like, I'm seeing all this stuff, like, I'm interested now.
Yeah.
So it's more of an invitation for that. Yeah.
I love that. Well, as we wrap things up here, the question that we started out with is, is door knocking necessary? And it sounds like from what you described, the answer would be yes, maybe, depends.
Yes. I give it a thumbs up. Yes, do it so that you stand out. Do what other people are not doing and get in front of the audience whenever possible.
Love that. That is amazing. Well, thank you so much, Thomas, for joining us today. Anything else you want to share with us, where people can connect with you, so that way, because they're like, hey, I like this guy. This guy, I need to talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Most of my social media is through Instagram and Facebook. I go with the handle NJ Nest, like New Jersey Nest, and follow my journey there and look for some motivational tips, how to do a accepted offer where it's actually compelling, and yeah, sharing all my marketing tips on there as well.
That's awesome. Yes. And you have something exciting coming up in 2022 that I'll be helping out with as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that piece
Oh,
for some agents?
I'm so excited for that, actually. It's proximity is power.
Yeah.
Who you hang around with is who you will be. And learning and growing and being supported in that kind of environment where you're supported, where you're learning new skills, where you're encouraging one another and sharing your wins, because not everybody will understand this journey. And it's creating a mastermind, the social agent mastermind, to bring all those together. Have strategies for door knocking, for social media, and just crush it. Make 20 two, eh,
I know it's a mouthful.
2022.
It's-
There's too many twos. 2022, the best year ever.
Yes. Yeah, I'm excited for that, and that's going to be a blast to be able to have that program and that group of agents. So I'm really excited about that. Thank you so much, Thomas.
Yes, thank
Amanda,
you.
anything else you want to close on before we end our show here?
As always, I'll just say, just do it. Get out of your head. I think that's the easiest tip about mindset. When we're talking about live video on Facebook or door knocking or hell, even cold calling, get out of your head. Don't tell yourself a story and just do it. Be willing to be uncomfortable. Like Thomas said, be willing to do the things that no one else is doing, because that's how you get the results that no one else is getting. Right. And so level up in that way and fall in love with being uncomfortable. I guess that's been the best advice anyone's ever given me. And I think it's served me well. So
Yeah. So true.
100%.
I'm like, level up. I don't know the dance, but I know that you do something with your hands like that.
It looks just like that. That was nailed it.
You nailed it.
Nailed it. What can I say? I'm a pro. So we want to thank all of you for joining us today on the live episode. If you're watching the replay, awesome. Be sure to connect with any of us on social and tune in next week, Monday at 8 a.m. Pacific here on Facebook or LinkedIn. And if you have a topic you want us to cover on the show, or maybe you want to be a guest on the show, feel free to reach out to Amanda or myself, and we will have that discussion with you. And until next time, we hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll talk to you next time. Take care, everyone.